Hello, my name is Tony Mays. I am the Commonwealth of Learning's Education Specialist for Open Schooling. Welcome to this orientation session. Open schooling in Eswatini has been around in various forms for many years. For this particular presentation, I was asked to address 6 key questions. So let's start with the first question. What is open schooling? So open schooling seeks to overcome any barriers to access and success in schooling. Children often cannot access or succeed because they are considered too old for a particular grade, or because the education of boys is valued over that of girls, or because families cannot afford the time, the fees, the uniforms, the textbooks, or the transport, or for a host of other reasons. If the child or the youth cannot come to the school, then we must use ODL methods to take the schooling opportunity to them. We can identify 2 broad approaches to open schooling. In a complementary approach, we follow the same curriculum that is used in mainstream schooling. This is probably most appropriate for children of school-going age who are not in school. An added advantage of this approach is that the learning resources developed for open schooling can also be used to support day scholars, for example, where certain subjects are not being offered in the day school, or when a day scholar is struggling to progress and needs extra support. In an alternative approach, we offer routes to gaining a school-leaving equivalent qualification or experience, but follow a different curriculum. For example, for youth and adults who could not access or did not complete schooling, a more technical or vocational curriculum may be more appropriate. Open schools take different forms and can be found all over the world, from Africa to Asia to the Caribbean and the Americas, right through to the Pacific. Sometimes they are standalone institutions. Sometimes they take the form of initiatives within universities or ministries of education. There is no one-size-fits-all model or approach for open schooling. The common link is a shared commitment to overcoming barriers to access and success through flexible modes of provision. This brings us to our second group of questions. ODL, as you can see, has 2 components: an approach which seeks to overcome or mitigate any barriers to access and success, thus opening provision, and methods which do not necessarily require teachers and learners to be in the same space at the same time, thus distance methods. Blended learning offers the best of 2 worlds. Key questions to be asked are what can be done independently using appropriate learning resources at home, and what is best done face-to-face in a school campus. E-learning can support both. The key features of e-learning are the use of a digital device or medium, and it should be noted that the device does not necessarily need to be connected to a digital network. It is possible to download resources when at the center, to use offline when away from the center. So why are the outreach is important because families and communities play an essential role in supporting learning, which happens remotely using non-traditional methods. Also, any open schooling provision needs first to be informed by the needs and contexts of learning of its target students, and this increasingly also involves understanding the technology profile of the learners in terms of access to devices, connectivity, and skills. As illustrated, we think face-to-face schooling will likely remain at the heart of the schooling system, and is probably the preferred option for very young learners, as well as learners with special educational needs which parents or caregivers may be not well equipped to address. Although it should be noted that some learners with disabilities find ODL approaches more accessible than traditional methods. However, hybrid, some face-to-face, some distance, some online, some broadcasting, and blended face-to-face and online provision could conceivably become the norm for older learners, as happened during the COVID pandemic. However, for the approximately 300 million children unable to get to a physical school, an open schooling model using open distance and e-learning approaches and methods should be an essential element of any integrated schooling system. It is possible that learners could move between models at need. For example, learners attending face-to-face schooling who encounter certain barriers, for example ill health, might continue learning from home through distance learning. Learners struggling with some subjects through distance learning might be integrated for a time into more structured blended or face-to-face learning. We hope that this presentation has provided you with a useful orientation. We wish you luck in all your endeavours during the outreach process.